Hello there everyone, how you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we're going into r/EntitledParents to find people shoving their entitlement where it doesn't belong. Like in your grandmother's urn, she's gone, you gotta accept it. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's stories, remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And before we get started, I'd like to thank you all for getting this channel monetized. I genuinely appreciate your support, and I hope I can get more content out to you like this. Now let's keep this train going. The time my classmate tried way too hard to impress the teacher. So back when I was in high school, 10th grade, I had a classmate who was always trying to stay on the teacher's good side. Front row every day, nodding along, backing up everything the teacher said, even when it didn't really make sense. One afternoon near the end of class, my teacher mentioned they were thinking about giving us a little more time for the next assignment, since everyone had other deadlines piling up. Before anyone else could even react, this classmate jumped in and said the deadline was fine and we didn't need extra time. The room got quiet. The teacher looked around for a second, then just said, "All right," and moved on. My classmate looked pretty satisfied, like she said the right thing for brownie points. Later that day, the teacher emailed the class saying everyone would get an extension because of workload from other subjects. Everyone except her. She emailed asking about it, and the teacher replied he was keeping her to the deadline she supported in class. No drama, just like that. I don't think she meant to screw anyone over, but speaking for the whole class, just to impress the teacher, was wild. Watching it quietly backfire was even wilder. Someone in the comments says, "I can picture the room going silent after she said that. It's wild how one sentence can change the mood so fast. Wanting to look responsible, that's kind of understandable. But deciding for everyone else just crosses a line." The teacher's response was honestly kind of fair. He didn't embarrass her in front of everyone, just followed her own words. That's one of those high school moments people remember years and years later. Anyway, on to the next story. Entitled sister opens Christmas gift early, then demands new Christmas gift for family party. My sister and her family live in another state across the country. Our family trades names so that we don't have to spend as much money since we are a big family. I got my sister's family and sent her a game she had had on her wish list for several months, as well as some expansion packs. I went a bit above the family spending limit, but was feeling generous. Because she lives so far away, I had it shipped to her home. Apparently her kids got too excited, and she just couldn't make them wait. They were excited when they saw the game, which is great, and at least my sister said thank you, but, and there's the glorious but shoved right in our faces. The next day she calls me to ask to get them another gift. She is worried that when we do the family Zoom on Christmas Eve, her family will feel left out since they have no gift to open. When I said I couldn't afford another gift, she started crying, told me I should be the one to tell her kids they won't have a gift to open, and all sorts of other manipulation tactics. I reminded her that I am a teacher, no money in that profession, and I have my own family to care for, and that she needs to be more responsible, buy another gift, and or teach her children to be patient. She hung up on me, and next time they get me a gift card, honestly. There's an update. I was telling my husband some of your suggestions. He now wants to buy them an advent calendar to help them understand when Christmas is. Don't worry, we're not actually going to do it. And there's a second update. So apparently this was cross-posted to other subs. No, I do not wonder if I'm the asshole, nor did I cross-post this for attention. Yes, I know the gift could be rewrapped. I am not really concerned about whether my kids will have the gift to open, as I can easily remind them of the game if they seem disappointed at the party. My sister is entitled brat, and was likely just fishing for another gift. I feel no need to accommodate her. Honestly, the more I thought about it, the more I think she was the impatient one that wanted to open the gift, and then see if she could get another present from me. The kids are unusually well behaved around more mature people who hold them accountable. Someone in the comments says, she's the parent, it is her job to teach her kids the consequences. They opened it early and that's on them. OP responds to this comment with, what makes it worse is that our kids are mostly tweens to older teenagers. It's not like they're toddlers that don't understand the concept of waiting. And then somebody below that says, she just wanted another present because she's so special. Has she always been like this? And OP just responds with, she's not always like this, but sometimes she is. Now, on to the next story. Entitled parent damages her own car. Alright, so for a bit of context, my mom homeschools my brother, and near where we live there's a building that hosts some homeschooling activities for kids who are homeschooled. It's not primarily used for homeschooled children, it's used for other events as well. So today my mom takes my brother to the homeschooling place for a science lesson, and he sits next to this kid who is quite frankly really rude and demanding. Just going like,
oh, peace, brother, do this. Oh, peace, brother, come here.
He even moved the stool he was on and trapped my brother's finger. And then while he was on a break, all the kids tried running upstairs to interrupt a business meeting in the rooms above. Luckily, my mom was there to help my brother, even trying to gently persuade the entitled kid not to do the things he was doing. Now, the thing about my mom is that she's really sweet, and he's giving the benefit of the doubt about this kid, especially considering his mom is rather old. Now, when the homeschooling event was over, my mom tried to find the entitled kid's mom, but she couldn't see her anywhere. Nor could she find the entitled mom's car. But as my mom wanted to leave, she saw the delivery van was parked very close to her car. So close that if she wanted to get out, she'd hit the van. So she went to find the driver, who was nice enough to move the van, and as he went to move it, he said, "Luckily you asked to move it, the other lady just hit it." And my mom instantly knew who it was. While the delivery guy moved his van, my mom bumped into one of the staff working there that she was friendly with, and after all the, "Oh my god, it's been too long," the staff was talking about the woman who bashed her car into the van, and my mom sort of said, "Yeah, it's entitled mother, I think she scratched her car." And the staff worker looked at my mom with confusion, then she realized that my mom didn't see what happened. So she took my mom to the front desk and brought up the CCTV footage, and on the screen was the van and the entitled mother's car backing out. And obviously the car bashed into the van, but what happened next was instant karma. The back part of the entitled mom's car fell off and she just raced off. After a laugh with the staff there, my mom thanked the delivery guy for moving his van for her, and she even mentioned to him that she should report the entitled woman because she committed a hit and run. But I'll wait and see if he does it and what'll happen. Someone in the comments says the delivery driver is responsible for any unexplained damage and will report a hit and run. But it isn't unexplained. OP said there's security camera footage of it. And then somebody says if he fails to do all the paperwork correctly, it is essentially unexplained. A hit and run complete with a police report or company insurance will not cover the damage. And this, my friends, is why I do not like insurance companies. I also don't like the police, but we're not going to go near that can of worms right now. On to the next story. Another incident with a trespasser. Hello again. As any who have read my previous posts are aware, I work security doing staff escorts, building lockups, alarm response, and inspections of facilities that I have been hired to do so for. For the most part, the job is uneventful, with people not paying attention to the time and running along with their booking. Every once in a while, though, I come across people who, were it not for my training and reluctance to use violence, I feel an almost overpowering urge to give a thick ear. Can somebody in the comments explain what a thick ear is? Is that like a British slang for something I don't understand? Anyway, continuing the story. Tonight was supposed to be simple. A wedding reception was being held at a hall at a local library I secure every night at the same time. I enter through the usual way, conduct the usual checks of the toilets, remember this, to make sure no one was trying to remain after hours, and proceed with the usual routine. It is by the last door I need to check that I found tonight's thorn in my proverbial paw. Sitting by one of the automatic exits, now locked, many council buildings are smart buildings capable of locking themselves, phone plugged into a charger, doing his best to ignore me when I told him the building was closed. Apparently, leaving was not on his list of things to do for the night, as he just sat there flicking through his phone while trying to tell me he was awaiting a friend in the toilet, which, if you remember, I had just checked and found none but a wedding guest. I thought I'd give him the benefit of the doubt and check the toilets. There was a slim chance someone had gone into them in the few minutes I'd checked, and frankly, it would look bad on the paperwork if I simply assumed he was lying. To my complete and utter lack of surprise, there was no one there. Returning to the man, I told him I didn't appreciate being lied to, and again asked him to leave. Naturally, his story changed. His friend was upstairs, and I should go try and find him. Do you remember those smart buildings I mentioned? That applies to the door inside a building as well as outside. There are only 4 ways into the upper level. Through an elevator that after hours requires a pass card to activate, a door at the top of some stairs that could also be opened with a card, or someone opening a door from the upper level, and through the fire escapes that required a key to unlock. Knowing this, I called him out for another obvious lie, at which point the story changed again to his friend being part of the wedding party. Again, pursuing due diligence, I asked one of the guests if they knew the men. They didn't, but were kind enough to alert the bride, who confirmed the man was unknown to her. Determined to remain civil one last time, I approached him and again told him to leave with no apparent effect. Being totally fed up at this point, I pulled the phone charger out and threw it out the automatic doors to which he was seated. That finally got his attention as he stood up and tried to intimidate me with his height and claiming I had just assaulted him. Knowing I had not touched him, I called his bluff and opened the automatic doors, through which he finally left. He tried goading me into doing something stupid like going out and fighting him, but I knew better than to stoop to his level. He lost interest when I pointed out there were cameras all over the area, and they would clearly show I hadn't touched him, and any fight would start with him being the instigator. Seeing I wasn't going to give him what he wanted, he walked off around the corner of the building. This is where I was a bit stupid. I saw him staring at cars parked next to the building, and thinking he might be trying to work out which one was mine to damage it, I opened the door to monitor him from a distance. It appears that's what he was waiting for as he quickly strolled back into the building, ignoring me once more when I repeatedly yelled at him to leave. He sauntered through the building's public area and left via the doors on the other side. As he left, I told those wedding guests gathered that he'd been warned he was trespassing 4 times, and if he returned, they could just call the police straight away. Being Aussies at their most Aussie, I was quickly informed that if he did return, they'd just thump him. Thankfully, that is the extent of the incident as far as I know. I've made a report and will request that, if he can be identified via the cameras that really were there, he be banned from the building, hopefully ensuring I never have to deal with a jerk again. If I do come across him, I'll let you know. I just feel sorry for the poor bride who had her wedding interrupted by his idiocy. If you've made it this far, thank you for reading and Merry Christmas. Now, if people in the comments want me to go into this man's other stories, because he does imply there are other stories this man has had that he's posted to the subreddit, I will read them in future videos. Just leave a comment saying you'd like to hear them. Now, that is the end of today's video. Remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.